Hi everyone, hello everyone. Habari zenu wa Kenya wenzangu. Football in Kenya has never been about the people. Football leadership in Kenya has never been about the people. And let me explain. Before 2008, we had a football federation in Kenya which was known as KFF, Kenya Football Federation. Past 2008, then we had another federation called Kenya Football Limited, which lasted until 2010. 2010, another federation was created, which was called FKF, and is the federation we have up to date, Football Kenya Federation. But if you look the history of those three bodies, you can see that the name was changed from one name to the other, but reflecting the same idea of Kenyan football. But behind those federations, there is nothing in it about the Kenyan people and about the Kenyan football. In fact, the last two federations came along as a result of unhappy people fighting, people wanting to create another federation, FIFA getting involved, and then that has been the history of our Kenyan football, to be honest. Now, I go back to my earlier point that football in Kenya has never been about the people. Football leadership in Kenya has never been about the people of Kenya and the Kenyan football. And this is where we must now exit the ideology of worshipping people in leadership, worshipping people in Kenyan football leadership and thinking that they are the goddess or they know everything. What we must focus on now is people's orientated football, people's centered football, where power is divided across the line so that everyone does what they are meant to do. This idea of worshipping football presidents and having football presidents or a football president during the president's reign or term of office, having hand in every cookie jar in Kenya that has to do with football is wrong. We must now, going forward, decide to build people's orientated football. There where people have different mandate within Kenyan football, all across mpaka mashinani. This will help our Kenyan football so that we can rely on our Kenyan football system, so that we can rely on our Kenyan Football Federation as an institution that not only has power, but that is there to help the people, to influence the change, to bring good changes in our Kenyan football, and that has a top-notch leadership. Because I keep saying everything rises and falls on leadership. If you have bad leadership, nothing will work. And this is crucial. And one single person cannot have enough good leadership. We need to have leadership all along in different positions in Kenyan football, including county level. Ukienda huko chini, you find good leadership. But also now, how the people are elected into these football leadership positions is also questionable. And this is why I question the idea of team blue all the way, team change all the way, because football is not about politics. Football governing body is not a political party. So this idea of where it has to be team blue all the way, this is an idea borrowed from Kenyan politics, and it's a very bad idea for our football. Someone elected in a position in the football governing body must come in as an individual representing an entity or elected somewhere else in the correct democratic manner and inclusive manner. Then that is how they climb up the ladder to find themselves somewhere in football leadership. This idea of one team all the way, it is wrong, because then we end up having a leadership that is formed by the people of the same group. So when it comes to independent decision making, being accountable or questioning the football president, it becomes very difficult because they are all people of one group. And this brings a lot of issues into our Kenyan football in terms of integrity, accountability, corruption, nepotism, and also bringing people who have no leadership skills, people who are not experienced enough, finding their way into the top of our Kenyan football leadership. And the result of that is a failed football leadership in the country. So my fellow Kenyans, what I wanted to share with all of you today is that Kenyan football has never been about the people of Kenya, and Kenyan football has never been about building people-centered football. It has been about individuals and teams, team blue, team change, team orange, team green, whatever you want to call it, all the way. It has been about a system that is made up of the same people eating from the same pot. And that makes it very difficult for our football to grow. Football is not politics. You can say that about political party, Jubilee all the way, mpaka mashinani, ODM all the way, mpaka mashinani, all of that, Wiper all the way, mpaka mashinani. That is beneficial to political parties because that is how they operate. But in terms of football, that is the worst ideology, yeah? And I keep saying, when you look in our football, we keep seeing names cropping up. Before you know it, we have a woman rep. Before you know it, we have a youth rep. Before you know it, we have a running mate. All these terms that are being borrowed from political leadership are going to destroy our football. Because for the possession of a running mate, the running mate, who is the person who's being elected together with the football president, that one is somewhere in FKF constitution. But when you come to the woman rep, youth rep, ambao wako mpaka county level, sub-county branches, but we don't know, no one knows what is their role. Their role is not explained in the FKF constitution, but their possessions seem to exist in the electoral code. So why are Kenyans now being forced to elect people who are not recognized by the same constitution, FKF constitution, that is meant to guide our Kenyan football? So as you can see what I'm talking about, the leadership in our football has never been about Kenyan football. The leadership in our Kenyan football has never been about the people. We must now, as a people, as a country, as people who love football and who would like to see progress, we must now work out how to change our football so that it becomes a system, and the federation becomes an institution that can be relied upon, instead of having every year in, year out problems within the federation, because it has never been about the people. And I keep asking this, when have you ever heard about any place, any country in Europe having this normalization committee we keep talking about? We had a normalization committee a few years back. Now we are about to have another normalization committee. What does normalization mean? Putting things in order, means things are not in order. And that can only come because there are people who are unhappy and there are other people who are happy. So then we have a neutral normalization committee that put things in order. If you look about the history of European football, the leadership of football is about the people. Football is about the people. People who are in leadership, yeah, when it comes to football, they know what they need to do for the people, because these decisions they make, they are people-centered. And that's why you never hear about these normalization committees, these fights about football governing bodies in Europe. In Kenya, we must not take lead or example from Africa. We must take good example from Europe and understand why is European football always performing, always working, always doing the right things for the people. It is simple. It is people-centered and people-orientated. My fellow Kenyans, let us agree to shift, yeah, from cartels and people-orientated from cartels and individuals-orientated football. Let us not plant our hope on individuals. Let us plant our hope on the system and on an institution that can run football. What we need is a shift from individuals-orientated football and individuals' leadership to a system that is people's orientated. My fellow Kenyans, that is the only way out for our Kenyan football. I live in peace, I'm gone.